It is the Christmas week officially, and we're going into January, which is also known as kind of the time when people suffer the most with depression and a little bit of those seasonal blues post Christmas. And Christmas can also be a hard time for people too. So I wrote a blog post on my website about 5 ways to beat the seasonal blues. And I thought that it would be nice to make a video about this too and just go through my 5 tips for avoiding that depression that can come along with the season and the lack of vitamin D that we're getting, especially in the northern hemisphere, the lack of kind of action and the colder weather, meaning that we're not out and about as much, we're not socializing as much, and also sometimes the financial and relational struggles that come with this time of year for people who may not be in the happiest family situations or who maybe don't have people to spend this season with. So, without further ado, I will go through my 5 tips for stopping those winter blues. My number 1, even though it may sound cheesy, is get active. In the winter, we are so much less active than we normally are in summer, spring, and even fall. It can be really easy with the darkness outside and the colder weather to want to hibernate and stay inside all day. But the best way for you to create endorphins in your body, boost your serotonin, and just generally feel better in your nervous system is to go for a walk, get on a treadmill, jump around in your living room. Do something that makes you feel active, and I guarantee you that this will help you to avoid some of those winter blues that people experience during this time of year. Exercise is proven to be an antidepressant. So if we are sedentary, we're inside all winter, of course we're going to start feeling more depressed because we have less of those positive neurotransmitters moving around in our bodies and our brains. Number 2 is socialize. When we're depressed, we can often want to isolate ourselves and not socialize with anybody. But our bodies have natural built-in mechanisms that produce oxytocin when we feel stressed. And this means that our bodies are actually desiring a connection with other people. We need to share our stress and our feelings with someone else and bond with people around us. And this is going to make us feel way more connected in our lives and feel a lot happier going through those winter months, not in isolation. Often if we're feeling down or depressed or affected by the winter weather and the winter months, other people are going to be feeling the same. And so if we can share some of our stresses and we can share some of our load with our friends or families and just enjoy a good social connection, we're going to feel much less depressed throughout the winter months. Number 3 is ditch the junk food. In the winter, we naturally want to store more fat in our bodies to keep us warm. But what this often leads to is that we become lazy about cooking, we become more complacent because we're at Christmas parties and various different events where we're just eating whatever is laid out on the table. My advice is to really fight that urge just to eat whatever comes with the season and really try and eat nutritious and healthy meals that feed our body and our mind and nourish us, making us feel better. If we're eating food that raises our blood sugar, that is full of junk and just not beneficial for our health, then we're going to feel a lot more lethargic and we're not going to feel as healthy in our bodies or as clear-minded as when we have a normal kind of healthy and balanced diet. So be aware of that, and if you are going to a holiday party, things like alcohol are important to be mindful of at this time of year because after we drink a lot of alcohol, we can feel quite depressed and anxious because they depress our nervous system. So if we're eating sugary foods, drinking lots of alcohol, and just generally not eating at regular or normal times, even binge eating, we're going to feel a lot worse than if we had a regular eating schedule or if we had some self-control over that. Number 4 is engage in seasonal mindfulness. With Christmas around the corner and with all sorts of stuff going on, New Year's and different parties happening, it can seem like absolute mayhem. And we forget quite often are routines of mindfulness, whether it be that we normally go to yoga or we sit and have a 5-minute breathing time each day, or maybe we just spend time in the present with our families, with our children, with our pets. It's really important that you don't ditch these self-care habits during those winter months and during the Christmas season, and that you really focus on making yourself stick to those routines and focus on how you're feeling in this moment. Don't neglect your body and your emotional and mental health, because that is what leads us to not feeling great this time of year. Number 5 is take your vitamins. And I know I sound like I'm preaching here, but every day I take an array of vitamins and minerals that I need for my body to maintain its proper functioning and to reduce inflammation. One example alone is that during winter, we do not get enough vitamin D. The sun is not shining enough, and we are spending a lot of time as well in the dark because the sun is rising and setting later and earlier in the day. So it's important to supplement those things with vitamin D, making sure we get our vitamin C so that we're boosting our immune system and avoiding all of those influenzas and bugs that float around during the winter season. And with the added stress, it doesn't hurt that we are really supplementing our bodies with nutrients and what it needs. So guys, those are my 5 tips for avoiding the winter blues and really making the most of this season and all the joyful things that it has to bring. It's really important that you take care of yourself this season before you're able to take care of all the commitments and all of the other stuff that you have going on. So remember that, and remember to love yourself first. Don't forget to check out my links and my ebook below, as well as all of my social media. Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you next week.